All right, just a three-game Major League Baseball slate on this Monday. We start with one of the hottest teams in MLB right now. The Astros, speaking of those Mets, take 2 of 3 at Citi Field this weekend, including a victory yesterday in 11 innings in extras 10-5 to win its 42nd game of the year. Houston now above 500, a winning record for the first time this season. Last week, they got to 500 for the first time after taking 2 of 3 up in Queens, above 500 for the first time. Now they go up north to Toronto to take on the Blue Jays, minus 142. The number in favor of the Stros and Hunter Brown, total at 8.5 there in Toronto.
Yeah, let's go. Astros again. Take the fork out of them, and maybe they're going to be that new special sauce out there on the West Coast, or should I say to win the American League West. Look at Hunter Brown here. Struggled to start the season. Ben, if we just take a look at 60 days, 5-1 overall through 10 games started, 57 and a third innings pitched. How about an ERA of 2.20? I know most people don't care about that, but that's just the bench line here, or baseline. XFIP number, 3.25. Tremendous. Take a look at his last 30 days. ISO power numbers, 090 between lefties and righties combined. 241 weighted on base percentage. Strikeout percentage, if you include the last 121 batters he's faced, that's at 30%. He's been tremendous. And also, so many times you're trying to handicap a game with an opener, which is what Yariel Rodriguez is going to be here for Toronto. I give the advantage to the Houston Astros playing good baseball and have the better pitcher on the mound today. They should be able to pick up the win, even though they're on the road once again.
Yeah, they certainly are, but that would be 10 of the last 11 if Houston is victorious today in Toronto, booked as the favored side. A debut today in Major League Baseball for the Nationals' top prospect, at home hosting the New York Mets, James Wood. And I was half listening, I'll be honest, to what you were saying there, DRS, because I had to figure out if the native of only Maryland, not all that far away from D.C., is true. He's 6'7". 6'7", James Wood, the 21-year-old, called up and acquired in the Juan Soto trade from San Diego 2 summers ago. Third-ranked prospect in the Major League Baseball pipeline makes his debut today against the New York Mets. 6'7", 234. It's a dead even pick'em now at minus 108, both sides.
Yeah, it should be. And like sometimes I just want to lean with the Mets here at this point. And the reason saying that, you take a look at the lineup today for the Nationals, struggles against left-handed pitching, particularly over the past 30 days. Peterson's not a great pitcher, though. For the last 60 days, decent ERA, though, Ben. 3.67 overall, but his XFIP number closer to 5, which is usually that danger zone. Now, here's the interesting part, something that we didn't talk about all that much for the Mets over the first 60 days of the season. But how about the last 30 days? They have been absolutely incredible, which is rare against left-handed pitching. Take a look at the first 8 batters in the lineup that we're anticipating, just the weighted on base percentages. Keep in mind, 320 or higher is what you're shooting for. 479, 401, 419, 443, 354, 354, 400, and 587. This is a grimace-looking lineup today. So having said that, I don't like either one of these pitchers particularly a ton, but if you're going to give me one lineup that is absolutely smashing left-handed pitching, it's the Mets. That's as good a lineup as you are going to find on a 30-day stretch from a left-handed pitcher ever. That's tremendous.
After the Mets took the opener against the Astros on Friday night at home, they were above 500 for the first time since the middle of April. They dropped the last 2 against the Stros, but despite dropping the last 2 in June and the first 2 in June, New York was 16-8 this previous month. And still since grimace throughout the first pitch, now nearly 3 Wednesdays ago at Citi Field, 12-4. Can the New York June Mets and the New York Grimace Mets continue those trends into the month of July? One more game to break down in baseball tonight at Coors. Total 11.5 between Milwaukee and Colorado. We'll do that next with the best bet on the other side of the break here on the early line. A matchup tonight in Coors Field is the nightcap of only 3 games on this Monday in Major League Baseball. Again, oftentimes Monday, not a full slate following the weekend. A couple of teams are off. Thursday, kind of the same thing. Getaway day, a travel day for the weekend. The reason there's only a few games today is because we have a full slate on Thursday. That's July 4th, of course, America's pastime on America's B-Day. So the third and final in Denver. At Mile High, it's the Rockies hosting the Brewers, minus 156, the number in favor of Milwaukee. And anytime we break down a game inside Coors, 11.5, we focus on that total. Offense expected tonight at altitude?
Yeah, we should be getting runs today. And also keep in mind, sometimes you take a look at much like Wrigley Field, Ben. Hey, what are the weather conditions? Not necessarily with wind, but what the temperatures are. 87 degrees at first pitch, around 5-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. So it should help. And also, we don't have two dominant pitchers by any stretch on the mound today. Austin Gomber and Bryce Wilson, both of those guys are hittable. Now, if we are looking at a lineup that probably projects a little bit better, it's probably coming from the Colorado Rockies side, going up against right-handed pitching over the past 30 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in that lineup with ISO power numbers at a 165 or higher. That should help. Now let's flip it over to the other side here and take a look at Milwaukee at the plate. Austin Gomber is not a great pitcher. If I just told you, like, he's got average numbers, 49 and 2/3 innings pitched over the past 60 days, an ERA close to 5, but an xFIP number on 4.46, which again isn't great by any stretch. Take a look at his last 30 days if we're taking a look at ISO power numbers and weighted on base percentages. 230 ISO, 417 weighted on base percentage over his last 108 batters if we take the lefties and righties and combine them together. However, here's where some of the issues creep in here if we're looking at the Brewers. Now, granted, I told you, I still think we're getting runs because Gomber's not a great pitcher, but left-handed scenarios for the Brewers over the past 30 days, take a look at this. Joey Ortiz, sensational. 27 at-bats against lefties, 318 ISO, 453 weighted on base percentage. Every single person below him, which is the final 8 batters, all below par on ISO power numbers. So theoretically, the better offense is coming from Colorado. I know they're not a good baseball team, not supposed to win these, but I can't pass up that plus money here. Don't love the game, but I'm certainly not going to lay minus 150, minus 160 with Milwaukee in this game today.
Yeah, the Brew Crew did take the weekend from the Chicago Cubs, 50-34 Milwaukee's record, a 6.5 game lead over the Cardinals. The Redbirds, the only other team in the National League Central above 500. St. Louis has played some great baseball since the start of June as well. So now before we say farewell and we say goodbye, it is time for a best bet on this Monday. It is time for bye, bye, bye. We got some time to kill here on the back end, DRS. What is the best bet on this Monday evening?
Should I go real fast and leave you with like 2 minutes to spin around and try to find and have some fun here?
I can do it
maybe not.
I hear I got to get used to it.
That's true. The last 10 with Ben. By the way, is that coming up sooner than later at this point? Could that be about a week's time? We'll find out. But yeah, go ahead.
You're the only guy that knows this updated summer schedule, by the way, but we'll save that and our viewers and listeners for another day. Go ahead, DRS.
Yeah, let me screenshot it and put it up there. Let me screenshot our new calendar here. Nah, we'll save that a little bit away. Let's go best bets here. We're going to go with the Grimace Mets today, BSS, to get an RBI. I told you, this lineup looks fantastic against left-handed pitching. I'm going to go Francisco Alvarez, the catcher here in the 5-hole. Reason being, 4 guys ahead of him, all high ISOs, all high weighted on base percentage, which means a lot of people will be on base by the time he gets up. A 308 ISO and a 354 weighted on base percentage. His number, plus 175 to record an RBI. The Grimace Mets aren't done making me money. We should be able to cash in that ticket on Alvarez today to get an RBI.
You know why that bet is even more special on this Monday, July 1st? Donnie Wright's side placing a bet on the New York Mets in honor of Bobby Bonilla Day once again. True. Donnie's favorite holiday should be a national holiday. He looks at the New York Mets. Well done, DRS. Well done indeed.